Right, I hope everyone's been grafting. I haven't, I can't be bothered. I really ain't had nothing that interests me anyway, other than concrete blocks. Poke them. I just want to give a shout out to Jonathan from Alexander Scaffolding. He watched my video on when I was hanging the doors, and I happened to mention that my router had been nicked, and he was kind enough to offer me his old one, and there it is. And it's all working, Jonathan. Thank you very much. Alexander Scaffolding. He wants scaffolders, if there's any scaffs watching, and they do a lot of housework. It's all housing association, so it's all on the pavement and that. And he wants a couple of drivers as well. So yeah, thanks, Jonathan. Right, trowels. I read about this a long time ago, and I've forgotten all about it. So I thought I'd just do a quick little video on it, just a bit of interest. Philadelphia pattern trowel and a London pattern trowel. There's also a Canadian pattern, and there's really very little difference between that and the Philadelphia. This is a bit more shallower. What's the difference? Well, obviously the shape and what they use for. It doesn't really matter, does it? Use what you like. But I think Marshalltown brought them out, well, they've always had them in America. I think about 1970, I think they first appeared in this country. And they was popular because that was new, really. That was a different trowel. That was a lot better quality then, that was good quality. And in them days, most of the bricks we were laying were LBC. 80% of the bricks we laid were LBC. And because there's deep frog in them and all that, you know, the 11-inch Marshalltown was suited to it. You get a nice trowel full of muck up, you know, to fill the frogs up and have a decent bed. But what they're for, and why they was never in this country before, is because they're designed for a certain type of building in the USA, which is overhand. I read this in a book, say, a long time ago, and it just crossed my mind. I've dug it out. The book was written in 1948. It's part one of the trilogy. What's it called? It's called The Modern Bricklayer. Yeah. I did notice it's been reprinted. You can get a new paperback copy. It's reprinted 2019. But there's plenty of old copies available, hardbacks on the internet. Just Google it. Some of these bookstores and even eBay. Now, what it was for? It was for overhand work. They didn't do a lot of their face work in them days off scaffold. It was all done overhand. Just the way they did it, really. And the book says it's known as overhand working because when working this method, the bricklayer has to pick up the mortar and the bricks from inside the scaffold. Well, we know that, don't we? I'll read this out to you. As will be seen, the blade of the American trowel is much wider than the shoulders. This enables the bricklayer, after he's bedded his external face brick, to joint up in a more efficient manner than if it were using a trowel with a narrow blade. When using the wide bladed trowel, all the surplus material can be gathered on the face of the blade to prevent any falling off and making a mess on the face of the external work. So that's what it was for. So, you know, as you leant over, it was easier to pick the muck up. To be quite honest, I don't think it makes that much difference, but that's what that was for. So now you know. And the Canadian pattern, I don't know, that's obviously the same reason. It's only seems that WHS ever made them. Well, I can find out, I haven't really looked into it that much. Yeah, that's that for that. Just a little bit of useless information. Someone asked me to do a video on elliptical arches. I'm going to try and do that tomorrow. Before I go away, just saying to put on the channel. Just simple ways of doing it, yeah? Alright, thanks for listening.